Good morning, 5th grade. We're ready for language lesson 154. To start off this morning, we're going to review a few things. What are verbs, pronouns, and negatives? So first of all, what is a verb? Now, a verb is a word that shows action or state of being. Now, what about a pronoun? Pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. For example, saying I instead of your own name, or he or she instead of that person's name. What about negatives? What are negatives? Negatives are pretty much what they sound like. They're negative words like not, don't, things like that. And what is the rule when you're using a negative word in a sentence, or when you're talking about negatives? What is a rule that goes with that? You cannot use two negatives in the same sentence. Okay? Only use one negative in each sentence. Now, what about sentence types? We know there are different types of sentences. What are the four types of sentences? Imperative, declarative, interrogative, and exclamatory. Now, how can you explain them? What is a declarative sentence? A declarative sentence just tells something. Okay? It ends in a period. What about an exclamatory sentence? An exclamatory sentence exclaims. It ends with an exclamation mark. What about an interrogative sentence? That asks a question, so it ends in a question mark. And imperative gives a command. You go close the door. And it usually ends in a period, possibly an exclamation mark. Now let's go over synonyms, antonyms, and homonyms. I have three sets of words here. One set is a set of synonyms, one is a set of antonyms, and one is a set of homonyms. So, can you figure out which is which? Remember, synonyms are words that have the same or similar meanings. So, work and job are the synonyms. What about antonyms? Antonyms are words with opposite meanings. What are the antonyms? Morning and night. Those are the antonyms. Now, what about homonym? A homonym is words that sound the same, but they're spelled differently and they have different meanings. See and see. One is talking about looking at something and being able to see it with your eyes, and one is talking about the sea, the water. So, see and see sound the same, but they have different meanings. First of all, in our lesson on page 274, you're reviewing direct objects. Read carefully what it talks about on the top of the page, about the things we've learned about direct objects. Now we're getting into our second kind of complement. Remember, what does the word complement mean? What is the root word of the word complement? It is complete. So a complement completes a sentence. Our second type of complement that we're learning about today is called an indirect object. What is an indirect object? An indirect object is a noun or a pronoun that's located between your action verb and your direct object. Here we have an action verb. Here we have a direct object, so it comes between them. It tells to whom or for whom, or to what or for what. So first of all, if we would find our direct object, I sent whom or what. Now, I sent a card. Card is the direct object. So it's between these two, and it answers to whom or for whom. To what or for what. So I sent a card to whom or for whom, to what or for what. So I sent a card to whom? Mother. I sent my mother a card. So mother is the indirect object. Card was our direct object, and I'm just going to put this in parentheses. Mother is the indirect object. Now we have another sentence. Phil gave me a piece of paper. What is the direct object? Whom or what did Phil give? Phil gave paper, okay? Oh, I messed up. Do you know what? This is a prepositional phrase, right? So, is our direct object. Sorry about that. So our indirect object comes between our action verb and our direct object. So Phil gave a piece to whom? Me, right? So me is our indirect object. It comes between the action verb and the direct object, and it tells to whom. Phil gave a piece to me. Okay, so that is your indirect object. Now, only action verbs have objects. If a sentence does not have an action verb, it will not have a direct object or an indirect object. Again, indirect objects come between the action verb and the direct object. Look for the direct object first, and then find the indirect object. Ask to whom or for whom, to what or for what, and that will show you where the indirect object is. And be careful, remember no direct objects come in a prepositional phrase. Work your lesson carefully. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great rest of